exciting moment here. Once again, it's been, of course, a raining day for Lagos. Wherever you might be watching me, please kindly hit the like button, share this video, and of course, join us as we navigate through this analytical moment here with Chigo Zendibo. Welcome you once again. Today promises to be, of course, one of those exciting moments, honestly, and I'm glad we are alive today, being the second Sunday in the month of June. Thought you are doing great. Yes, uh, from the topical issue or subject of discourse, sometimes when someone is calling attention of over some critical issues that were left untouched to be addressed before disaster looms, some might say he's making noise. He has no business, he has no job, or possibly he's just ranting. But not until it goes around. For instance, Mazin Namdekanu have been calling, of course, for the right thing to be done in order that every region of this country will feel secured, we have sense of belonging and identity, and of course, we move forward with their lives and progress at their own pace. He has called, of course, for regional government. He has called for equity, fairness, and understanding among different regions and ethnic nationalities. But he was ignored. Some said he was ranting, some said all manner of things against him. But today, the reality is staring at us that even at the legislative chambers, there are contradictions about the position of the constitutions and different opinions or ideologies that have been sustained over the years. And people think it was just a mere joke. Ignore those blunders, ignore those danger signs until it have gotten to the point that it now poses a very devastating threat to the existence of all. Attention was called up by some concerned persons. People neglected it. People treated it with such level of disdain, ignominy, but today it is staring at all as sundry. Honestly, it is quite unfortunate, but that is the true position where we found ourselves as a country today. That is the reality. We cannot deny it. Yes, we cannot deny the realities that is staring at us today. As a people, as a Nigerian, or as Africans, there was a man who came and said, no, let's get it right for once. Since the founding fathers of Nigeria, of course, vision or mandate was truncated along the line, we should come back and address those anomalies, those mirrors of problem that poses, if not a medium-term danger, it will be a long-term danger to our existence or collective existence and unity and continuity. But such people were just treated as outcasts, that they don't know what is happening. The Nigerian political class decided to live in self-denial. Why much damage is being done, why much disaster is looming. Today, it has gotten to everybody. We've come to that with end that everybody is now understanding that their own life is in jeopardy. Their existence is in jeopardy, not just a particular race now. Formerly, it was targeted at a particular race, it was targeted at particular ethnic nationalities or region. But now everybody is collecting breakfast. After the Civil War, unfortunately, Nigeria never, of course, recovered the peace. And that is the fundamental issue we have to address today. What led to the Civil War? Of course, it's very clear to us, even with the national anthem in Brotherhood We Stand. How true is that? If truly we stood in brotherhood, if truly we enjoy that brotherhoodness, there wouldn't have been reason to kill one another. The acrimony, the sentiments, the hatred that had been prevailing, which culminated to the Civil War. Of course, I read some documentaries that reveals that the tribal war between among the Yorubas in the West escalated, of course, become a civil war in the East when such issues have been addressed. But today, people are living in denial because they don't want to tell the story, the truth of what's transpired. There is no brotherhood. So it is not a matter of jettisoning the national anthem, Arise, O Compatriot. No, or God of Creation, whatever that is. And you are adopting another on brotherhood. Which brotherhood without addressing those silent issues that have remained a subject of controversy, that borders on a collective existence, and how we can redefine the collective existence of the Nigerian ethnic nationalities or nations that was forcefully amalgamated into this deceptive arrangement of the British Empire just to protect the British interest. It has not served any interest as far as the ethnic nationalities within Nigerians are concerned. Today, people are crying that this, even some respected legal constitutional lawyers are saying that the foundation, which is the constitution of Nigeria, is fraud. Now, if the foundation being the constitution, the foundation of every nation is predicated on its laws adopted. But here they are making reference, citing that the constitution is wrong, is faulty, is fraud. Because why? In a democratic setting, it does not reflect the collective will of the people. It does not drive the passion, the ideology, the collective passion, the collective ideology of the entire ethnic nationalities. And it does not address their peculiarity, I mean, in terms of their culture, recognition of identity, and of course, their peculiar needs or challenges that need to be, of course, addressed. It was only drafted by few individuals who unfortunately are products of course, military juntas. It was not a reflection of the society or the people that should be governed by such laws. The concept of the people were not sought for. And as such, you don't expect such to reflect the will and the needs of the people. Over time, that becomes a useless document, just as most people, of course, are making this assertion today. I've listened to Ozakome and other legal luminaries. I've listened to what is that his name? One of these pronounced legal luminary who happens to be, of course, the president of Nigerian Bar Association. Very sound personality from the East. He's a great man, of course, who has categorically stated that the foundation, which is the constitution of Nigeria, was faulty. And you can't build anything on that foundation, expect it to stand. It is not a matter of changing the national anthem because the foundation is wrong. Even with the national anthem, it will also collapse on everyone. That is a reality. It will collapse on everyone. Please, I don't need any call now. Okay, okay, that is the reality. Yes, it will collapse on everybody. Before 1978, when Obasanjo discarded that on we in ethnic nationalities, we though we might be different, we might be from whatever. I've not even I've not even started making any attempts because it does not reflect the realities on ground. Changing the national anthem, it is not in any way a solution to the myriads of problems bedeviling Nigeria. It is getting known to everybody. Even the National Assembly or the 10th National Assembly are now appreciating the position of Mazen Nnamdi, what he stood for. They knew he stood for honesty, he stood for equity, he stood for fairness. But today, at the plenary of the National Assembly, of the Senate, they are not canvassing, protecting the right of cows as against humans. I was startled, I was dumbfounded when I heard at the House of Representatives a woman from the north saying that we are not listening to any one another to prefer solutions. She admitted that for an average herdsman, that the cow is more valued to the life of a herdsman. And this is somebody representing a particular region or constituency, making such public assertion before the plenary. Excuse me. Now, what do you expect if such a spokesperson, or if I may use the word learned fellow, or a lawmaker, can be allow such kind of mentality to overwhelm and overshadow her perspective and sense of reasoning, then there is something fundamentally wrong. I thought it was only men because men could be radical, but if it is extending to the ladies or the women who are more closer to homes, who we claim are the builders of families and the society, but that is quite unfortunate. They said when you educate a lady, you are educating the entire nation, but that, of course, to some extent, has been proven wrong. Because if such a spouse House of Representative could dabble into such beliefs, that she even was convinced that the life of cattle are more valuable than that of the herders, and she failed to correct such misconception among her own people. She failed to give them the sense of belonging. She failed to teach them that life of humans as circumstance are valuable and cannot be compared with anything. Then there is something fundamentally wrong. It means the primitive ideology or whatever that have been passed to her, regardless of her exposure and his education, has not left her. That is quite unfortunate. And one of the, of course, honorables, as they say, has to challenge her that you cannot in any way equate even a billion cow to that of human life. The human life is sacrosanct, human life is priceless, human life should be valued in any sense society. But that unfortunately is now staring at us. We now understood that, wow, We have been wallowing in deep deception, in deep abject deprivation, wallowing in deep ignorance and oblivion. We don't even understood each other or the ideology. We have no common ideology that is quite settled. We have no common way of thinking or perception. And where can that lead us to? Different regions have different perception about life. They have different approach to life, culture, and of course, acceptance or how they socialize. And some believe that they don't need to socialize. What they need is to, of course, remain in that parochial mindset, trapped in that primitive sentiment or way of doing things. And that is, of course, is good for them. Where a sitting senator will say that they are not asking for schools, they are not asking for houses, they are not asking for good living. They are okay with their parochial or primitive sense of reasoning and whatever. They don't need to improve. They're okay with the bushes. That is quite unfortunate. In fact, an emergency should have been declared forthwith, henceforth, to vacate all the offices or positions of the House of Senate and Representative because it doesn't serve any and have a shared value. That is quite ridiculous, but that is the truth staring at us. Now, how can we do to navigate out of this mess, out of this quagmire? As I'm just laying a preliminary. Hello, please, I'm not available now. I'm in a very serious meeting here. Thank you. Okay, as the case is, you can understand what is happening. Sorry for this distraction. I'm just laying a preliminary, of course, foundation for a discussion today. Whatever you allow, when there is wickedness, when there is injustice, when there is impunity, when there are abnormalities within the society, and people tends to ignore such, or maybe it has not gotten to us. Maybe, of course, we have the money, we have the cash, we are at advantage over others. You will fail to address those issues. You fail to lend your own voice against and to address such abnormalities, injustice, unfairness. One day it will come back to you. It will turn to you. Yeah, we will be busy. Of course, it doesn't affect me. If it matters, I will just jet away. But that is the truth. What has been the position of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra? And what is the current realities within the Nigerian states or political sphere today? Have any part of Nigeria enjoyed peace? No, tell me. I stand to be corrected. Has any part of Nigeria as it stands now, people are blaming the eastern region, are blaming other region. Which other region of Nigeria is peaceful? Is relatively peaceful within the context of the word peaceful. Peace, economic viability, security to life and property, the the crime rates or the crime index measure of the crime rates in Nigeria is second to none. No part of this country that is safe as it stands today. Unfortunately, the military have been overwhelmed. Attacks from the Sahel, from the northern regions by Ashwa, by Boko Haram, by bandits, and other, of course, arms bearers under different names and connotations, fighting for things that are not even defined, that are not very objective, and they have no focus, but just to destabilize the entire region, of course, to their own advantage, but that is quite unfortunate. The senators and the political class are just living in such denial because they have attached to themselves security personnel, orderlies, well armed to the teeth. But that is not to say that they are safe themselves, because if you are safe, you wouldn't, you have confidence in the security or the system of security within the Nigeria. You wouldn't even be contemplating of moving with entourage, with fleets of car, with soldiers and all that. But because of the level of vulnerability of all our sundry, including those within the corridor of power, everybody is in danger. Everybody is in danger as it stands today. There are some, of course, diasporans who might ordinarily wish to come back to relax within Nigeria, but today they cannot, because with what is happening, their life is not even Abuja. A close friend told me that Abuja now there is no more night life. Once it's getting to cease, you are making plans, of course, to retire to your home, afraid of being adopted or being kidnapped or whatever may happen to you. Only God can tell. But prior to these times, up to 12 a.m., people are there enjoying themselves. Of course, 2 a.m., they find their way back home. But that has changed. And if Abuja cannot be safe, what else? Where else can be safe or safer instead? So let me come, of course, home. We have had the chief priest, Cubana chief priest, or whatever is being addressed. However, it's been addressed, saying that because of insecurity, he moved his business down to Lagos. Because probably it have not gotten to Lagos. There is unrest and restiveness in the land. Possibly he might be thinking it will not get to me. I have my business, or he doesn't care whatever is happening. You fail to address injustice. You fail to address mismanagement. You fail to address some critical issues that borders on the collective existence of your own people. When the tables is turning around now, of course, it will get to everybody. Yes, has your business been affected? Do you anticipate that such there will be a time, of course, it will get to that point? It will degenerate to the point that you relocating, because those who patronizes you are humans, they are not animals. Because they are scared, they are afraid of coming down to those regions. And of course, you can't make your money, or the number of sales will drop drastically. That is natural. So peace is synonymous to progress, to advancement, to economic revival, and of course, irreversible growth. But when such things factors are not there, you don't expect magic from anybody. So it's quite unfortunate that Cubana is now speaking or making some. For me, my opinion is just noise, because it's just after the symptoms. I'm not addressing the real problem. No average Igbo man will want to destroy his own region or cause unrest. Igbos, Igbos or the Igbo or Eastern region has been one of the best peaceful region ever in the history of Nigeria, apart from the Civil War. That one is war. But today, people are afraid of going to their homes, to their villages, of carrying out festive occasions, just as he cited that Flavor has to go to Enugu to do his father's funeral, to observe his father's burial rites. Well, that could be for some reasons best known to him, but or connected to the unrest within the region. are because of the magnitude of persons or individual personalities that may want to grade such a question. He wouldn't want to jeopardize their life because they are coming for burial. It has gotten to this point that even with your money, you are not safe. If your security, you are not safe. So what is that telling us? Rather than fighting of pursuing shadow, we should wake up and tell ourselves the truth. If there is no justice, if there is no fairness, if there is no equity, if there is no integration, if there is no collective effort to address the mirrors of the problem bedeviling us that is predicated on a faulty foundation, you go nowhere. I'm not a prophet of doom, but you will expect the worst. Even the Abuja and the Lagos might not be safe. It's just a matter of days or months. You can see the influx of people unidentified or people that you can't even know moving into Lagos, moving into different regions as the Boko Haram, the ISWAP displaces or dislodges the people in the north. Of course, the unrest in the east have result to massive exodus of persons, and you don't know the identity, of course, whatever they might be their ulterior motive or agenda for moving. So we're just sitting at the time bomb, which is only buying time to happen. Mazin Namdekanu said all these things. And something is just joking. Some things that he should be crucified for being bold to say what is true and what poses a monumental threat, what can endanger the existence of all ethnic nationalities and everyone within the Nigerian space. But today it is staring at us. There is no shared common, there is no common or shared ideology. We are not the same in thought, in character, in perspective to life. So how can we address those mirrors of problem? Unfortunately, the national assemblies are contemplating of creating new states. What can new states do to the already worsened or battered economy? How viable are the existing states? They only survive by the money that was borrowed from IMF and other international bodies to pay salaries, to share every cycle of 30 days. Who has done us this? Why is it that those who should figure out how to move forward are trapped in such darkness that they can't see beyond their nose? How does creation of states address the insecurity, address the poverty? A derika of beans now, a derika, for people who are familiar with the word derika, is 1,700. 1,700. Me, why I know they like beans before, sir. So they have given me opportunity to even to hate beans the more. You know what that means? That one of the cheapest staple foods that is available, that is a source of protein to average Nigerians, is now out of the reach of Nigerians. An egg, my people say aqua, egg is 300 naira. A single egg in Nigeria today. Where are we going? Egg, common egg, is 300 naira. You left crucial issues. You left the substance and you're pursuing shadow. And you expect such by living in delusion, by living in self-denial, such issues can fix themselves. You are wasting your time. If the National Assembly fails to address these issues, these fundamental issues, one day they will be chased out of that Senate complex. It will become insecure for them to be there. I'm not the one that will chase them. The thing that will chase them is already coming. The signs are everywhere. There have been contentious arguments over the right of cattle. And they have told us clearly that it doesn't matter who you are, even the National Assembly's members are of less value to cows before the herdsmen. The perspective of life of the herdsmen, or whatever they call themselves, presupposes that cow has a more preferred value to life. But it's rather unfortunate that we are trapped in this mess. How do we address this? The unfortunate thing is that the population of the northern masses are crying. They are helpless. When you hear their story, you will weep for them. Nowhere is safe. Not that they desire such experience, but they are helpless because, unfortunately, no one is coming to their aid. They have been overwhelmed by this calamity, bedeviling all asunder. They are fleeing their own homes, even the stage of the vice president. Even when the former president in Daura Castina, people were being killed, people were being chased out of their communities helplessly. He could do nothing to nip such problem at the bud. So it has been sustained, it has continued, it has become a nightmare, it has become a dilemma, a national dilemma. So how do we get out of this wood? It's only the truth that can set us free. So it is just early. It is still early for you to be ranting or talking. You are moving your business from Imo State down to Lagos and all that. That doesn't solve the problem. Why the agitation? Why the sustained aggression? Because of injustice not addressed. Unfortunately, it is getting over all the regions, and today everybody is eating the breakfast. What is eating the breakfast? It's taking part of this share of the insecurity, of the injustice. Even a tomato now, just small tomato now, you don't even have 500 naira tomato. If you manage to see anyone, it could be two pieces or three, 1,000 naira. How do we go? Those common necessities that is readily available for the average masses, for the poor masses, are out of the reach of ordinary Nigerians. What is that calling? It is calling for anarchy, it is calling for disaster, because when people are now, of course, pushed to that end, that unfortunately they have no place to run to, they will definitely be forced to push back. When life becomes so miserable for them, or when life is made miserable for them, of course, what do you expect? More calamity, more anarchy, more disaster. Today, if nobody is safe, people are being robbed on the streets. A friend of mine, they said they collected his phone. A lady was rounded up by 4 p.m. and they took away all her belongings and threatened her not to make any noise about that. Unfortunately, we are just getting there gradually but consistently. This is the moral decadence. the decline, fast declining societal abnormalities that have been tolerated over the years, where the serving or political office holders loot the nation, the treasury of the nation of the states to stupor, and there is no development, there is no job creation. The populations of the masses are left to wallow, of course, endlessly. There is no direction, there is no definite direction, ideology, plan, or program for the youth. Of course, more people will be recruited just as what is happening in the north. When you don't expose them to education, when you don't give them the reason to live, to improve on their life, of course, you make them readily accessible to the jihadists, to radicals. And most especially when they now discover that this is the easiest way to make millions, to make money, then that is gone, that is finished. Others will be motivated to join. And you know what that society is? That society is destroyed. Sorry to say it, but that is the truth. It might take. Sorry for the network hitches, but that is the truth. How do we address these myriads of problems? How do we get to solve these problems confronting us as a people? Yes. Do you think that by mere wishing away, of course, of these issues, of these nagging issues, we can address them? But that isn't truth. We must rise at this time to discuss those pertinent issues, of course, confronting us as a people. Otherwise, we'll continue to live in denial. And living in denial cannot in any way, of course, provide solutions to these problems. We must rise, of course, to hold accountable those that needed to be held accountable, and of course, to chart a way forward. We must chart a way forward for humanity. Humanity cannot be held bound indefinitely. We can't continue to tolerate this assaults on our collective existence as a people. Now, the Akpabio is now arguing. They are now understanding that there is something fundamentally wrong with the existence of Nigeria. The people you thought you are the same with them have different perspective, have different ideology, are being driven by different concepts that may guess, of course, what you represent or what you perceive, your perception about life. And how do you expect you can move forward? We can work together. As an Igbo man, I don't believe that cows, animals, no matter how many they are, will be preferred above human, created in God's image. No, we are not taught that way. That was not, of course, the lesson that was passed to us. But thank you once again. It's quite fortunate. The light is off. I want to call it a day until we meet in subsequent edition. Thank you once again for being part of this program.